We use the word school like we use the word martial art in order to name something we think we know. But actually even the word martial art doesn't fit bujutsu, doesn't fit buge. This is really important. And the word school doesn't fit ryu. And see you turn. Tell me the difference between this and one. When you hear the difference. We think that during Sengoku Jidai, where ninja were pretty much active, but in the case of the number of ryuha, they count between 60 to 80, sometimes 100, but because it's very difficult to fix, they said between 60 to 80. Doesn't mean that all are effective. It doesn't mean that, quantity doesn't mean quality. That's the first thing. If few have survived, it's because those ones have chosen another way, have found other way. They could survive, or just what they had as a knowledge was practical and was really for survive. In another word, they were truly shinobu. They could keep on going, they could keep on survive. They were really developing the patience and stay quiet, stay hidden. And they understood something very important, that writing down is not what is the most important, because everything that deals about technical things, deals about capacity, is human. It's the heart, it's the body, it's the mind. You write down when you have a purpose, when you want to let something, when you want to create a legacy, when you want also to legitimate your own practice. So that's one of the reasons why 90% of the densho, whatever the ryuha, and including ninjutsu, because they were warrior, so they follow the same roots, the same way of thinking. You know, it's not what think the oppositely. It's the same. You can find this in Buddhism, in Sado, in everything in Japan. Why there is the same way of transmission, Jikiden, Naiden, Kuden, Taiden, Shinden, etc., etc. In no, but you have also in classical martial art, like you have also, in the art craft of kimono, in the way of doing silver. Why you have the same things? It's not about killing people, huh? You need someone who have a knowledge, and this knowledge needs to be transmitted to someone who can receive it. So you need a master and a disciple. Well, it looks like a little bit Jedi, but it's like this everywhere. You need someone who can explain, or at least show something effective, and someone who can accept that and do it the same and better. You can find this in any kind of classical ryuha, whatever the style is, from Kashima Shinkage-ryu, from Tenshin Shoden Katori Shinto-ryu, Nen-ryu, or Takenouchi-ryu, Seigo-ryu. It's the same. You have someone, master, who finds something and apply to various. He find a disciple, mainly a warrior, not a peasant, someone who already have a background, someone who knows how to fight, and something happened, the man understand, it's old is young. It's always like that. Always. It's very rare they are too young. There is always one who have a little bit more. So this is the reason why few have survived. They survive because they are really deeply in the essence of the art, because the one who was doing this, looking for someone who suit him, where he can find, where he can see himself in him, and it's the same nowadays for in the classical martial art. And when he had the time, he write down things. But he gonna write down things, why? To get published? No, he write things in order that the next one never forget what happened when they were together. Whatever people understand or not, first he will start by the very, very beginning, the kion. This is really important. Look how low he is and where the head is there. This is where you strike, that point. Watch carefully the experience. 先生の動きですね。やっぱりみんな座り方の土地によって見方は違いますから、で私は受けとして見ることは違います。先生はここは写真のために、でも今度はここだったんでしょう。ものすごく体を守りながらでしとった時、顔が後ろにいるんですよ。やっぱり中心、刀と同じ。そういうこと。When the first time I had a Bansenshukai in my hand, or the Shōninki, it was not the original. It was a copy, or let's say a modern publication. I was not really fluent in Japanese. I didn't have any PhD. When I had those things on my hand, well, I was pretty much younger, and I was thinking, wow, I'm sure there is all the secret of ninja. When I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna fly and do things. Well, I was young, with many dreams. After studying Japanese, going deeper on various fields of the Japanese studies, and coming back to those scrolls, I have to say, besides few things, which can be interesting or can give another orientation or direction of studies or research, at least a big part of what present the Bansenshukai, you're not sure they have been really used in the battlefield or used as in an actual situation. We don't know if the one who wrote that is really a ninja or someone who gathered many information like it happened, like a monk, someone who knows how to write, how to put things in a good order. The Ninpiden is a little bit different because the Ninpiden, it's more a densho. It was written in the Hattori family for the next generation. For the Bansenshukai and the Shōninki, they are not considering as densho by scholars. They are considering like Zujitsu, which is completely different style or kind in French. We say genre or essay. Zujitsu is like you can translate this like you know, you write things how they come in your mind.
So it's strong. So that's why you use everything.
When, for example, you write a densho, you write this for your student, for the one who's going to succeed you, the one you want to give, or maybe you write this because you need money too. You know, a master, there is various ways. There is, I think, 4 to 5 modes for transmit something. The first one we call a Giri Yurushi, which is about your loyalty to the Lord. You have to give it to him because you are under his order. So this, it doesn't mean the man is good or not. Second is called Kaden Yurushi. It's in the family. Here again, it's the blood that talks. It's not because it's your son, it's not because it's from your family that it will be good. The number 3, very known too, is Kane Yurushi or Sode Yurushi. You have both ways to tell it. And this, that's matter of fact, you need to eat. You need also to provide your family, you need to survive. So you might sell the scroll. You might write and say the man have a Menkyo Kaiden, the man at that level, but because he's going to pay or because he's from a rich family and you need to live or you need to find a position that allow you to not starving. And this is very important when you're a warrior, when you're a samurai, especially during Edo area. Finally, the one that everyone aim, the one that everyone would like to have, the one that everyone believes that he have. That's very important because there is that aspect of I believe what he's writing and this is true. It's of course the Ude Yurushi or Waza Gi Yurushi. And this is the man who have because of his talent, because he's good, we have it.
That's why from Hichimonji up Hicho, everything is connected together. Hope you see. And you see that when I did Hicho, I didn't went like that. I didn't stand up, I didn't rise. So first of all, Kamae, Ukete, grab, look, close. Why are you here? Because when you bring, not too much close to your over, that's why the hand goes like that, Kamae. And you call 1.
One of the problems of those things, Bansenshukai and Shōninki, it's it lead nowhere. The more you read them, I'm talking in Japanese, not in English, because already, translate this in English, in modern English, is losing a lot of what it means at that time when they were written, because it's not the same language. We need to be aware about that. If you're not aware of the context where things have been written, it's impossible to do it. It's impossible to understand. You need to know the context of those scrolls. So this is one of the main problems when you read the Bansenshukai or the Shōninki, even in a modern version, in a Japanese version. What is the purpose of those books? How can you talk about something which the main point, the main aspect is to stay secret, to remain invisible at that time?
So, but Tenzuru is at the moment, it's how you can move. And if you do 1, 2, you see, it's already on the next. You have to work your synchronization like this. See how I step, so the question of speed, I'm not doing this. Huh? uketa toki, one. That's why you have the shito, you have everything. So first movement, watch carefully. Each.
The word of ninja, no, it was more shinobi no mono, ongyo no mono. The meaning was more some people who are able to get into very important place without being curved, take what is more important, sometimes even the head of someone and come back. They always need to bring back a proof or set the fire there. That's it. And for that you need skills. You need skills to kill, you need skill to not get first tracked and grabbed by a warrior, so you need to know how to act like a warrior, so you need to know everything that a warrior knows. You don't send a peasant over there, that's proof. That's really important, you know. So again, the Bansenshukai was written at a moment where ninja was not really active. Doesn't mean that the art, everything that made a ninja or will make someone become a ninja didn't exist. It was there, but who handled it, who it was transmitted, by who, where, which reason, this, we have no clue about that, because this is one of the very important aspects of ninjutsu. You don't talk about something, about an art, a methodology, which the essence is to not talk about that, to not show about that, to not even say anything, express anything about how to kill someone without being seen. That's very important.
And few of them in classical martial art, even in ninjutsu, had the capacity, or they had the chance and the capacity to sit and write down to explain the technique. And obviously, it's not just explain the technique, you need to have the words in order to transmit something, to pass down a certain message. All right? And here it's more than a message, it's how to use your body. So, I'm sure you have seen this kind of things. When they do koku, for example, or there is ukemashita, kete, and here they're all doing something like this, or when they do renyo, it's this, and the kick arrive, and they do this, and after they do. I'm sure you have this many times, in a way that even this become kerikaishi. The problem, the kick comes like a spear, in a straight line, and you have to move 1, 2, 3. It's too many movements against one movement that goes straight. Do you understand that? So you're doing a circular motion against something that goes straight, something I already said many times. Who is faster, the straight line or the circular motion? You don't need a PhD to understand that. So obviously here you can understand that the legitimacy of that kick, you sure the source of this, even if you said yes, but I see it with Noguchi, I see it with Nagato. Some people will even say, I see it with Hatsumi. I said yes, but who did it before Hatsumi Sensei? Did someone present the technique and Hatsumi Sensei just copy without moving? This is really important to know. When we go like this, each knee, san. It's at the moment you do the shito. The shito allows the kick. In both cases. That's why you have the movement and you can go again. Same for renyo. When you do the first one, ute, haite,
I think studying Shōninki, Ninpiden, Bansenshukai, it is very interesting in order to see and to understand or to have a view that it is something, but where is the ninjutsu? It's too much information. And I remember that phrase that Nawa Sensei said, that was really interesting. He said, I was interested on ninjutsu because I wanted to know what I can take from here to use in my own practice. So I start to dig all the Bansenshukai, Shōninki, Ninpiden. I let Ninpiden and Shōninki on the side because there was not enough. Bansenshukai was most interesting because many information. And I said, well, beside two things or few things, 90% of the thing doesn't work in the real world. When you look, for example, the way weapons are done, a few things, it takes too much time to carry certain things, to do certain things. If you are a professional spy or professional killer, you understand that a lot of things inside cannot be applied.
You take the distance here. When you attack, you move out, you catch, and keep on the movement because you can cut.
If you think this is true, we don't drink the same water. Here the idea of batten is at the moment he attacks and bam, he touches you. Just like this when I move, you have the shoulder. And if I come back, look, This should be in the face. You can't do those techniques. And the idea of bat 10 when you're in kama, if you go like this, is wrong. Tak, you're in kama, this is how you go in bat 10. So with the katana, how it works. You don't have time to do 1, 2, he cuts you here. The idea is this.
The logic of classical bujutsu, classical heiho, what we call koden bujutsu, koden heiho, so classical, is to adapt to the moment, to the situation, to the enemy. They never said that the enemy is a Japanese. They never said that the situation is in Japan. They never said that what happened, it's a nationality, a religion, or something that, it's something unknown. So you need to be ready to fit that. So if the scroll, whatever, densho, zuitsu, essay, book, notebook, doesn't express that idea to be able to adapt yourself, well, you can be sure that the one who wrote that have another, how can I say, purpose to write down this, and he was maybe not involved in what I call the den of classical martial art, like the transmission, to give something to someone in order he doesn't forget, and to make it work, to adapt in the future, which is the case for most of the classical ryuha.
So, movement was direct. So, from here, as you step, you attack directly the legs.
If, for example, I'm a Bujinkan believer and a believer of those techniques, or a Genbukan believer, or Jinenkan believer, or whatever Kankan believer, I'm going to answer according what I want, and I want people come to see me because I have the things. Well, the first thing I've learned, it's to be neutral. Even with your own master, you have to be neutral. You can't accept everything he said, and you have to always search and ask the question, how it works, why it works, when it works, what for. There is a lot of question about those ryuha, Togakuryu, Gyokuryu, Gikan, Koto, Gyokushin. Did it exist? Is it fake? Is it Takama Sensei created? First for sure, any kind of ryuha have been created by someone, first things. But in order to create something, you need a background. Those things, we know them because of Takamatsu Sensei, a matter of fact. Before that, if you dig a lot, you have certain mention here and there of Togakushi, of Gyokuryu, Kotoryu. You have those mentions, they exist. The problem is those mentions are very limited to a phrase, to a word, sometimes a way of reading things. The way you read the kanji allows you to understand that. One of the main things of those ryuha was to never spell the name. You need to wait 4 or 5, sometimes 6 generations, 10 generations in order to spell the name, to really express the name of what you do. Why? Because sometimes the name, the title of the ryuha is on itself, represent itself the highest level you need to find. Sometimes if it's just the name of the family, like Take no Uchiryu, okay, it's the ryuha of the Take no Uchi, but even Takeuchi is very interesting, the inside of the bamboo, the flexibility is because inside is emptiness. So, of course, you can interpret it in many ways, and this interpretation depends, of course, of your purpose, but at the same time, even first, of your depth of practice. How deep is your practice? How deep is your relationship with the master? How deep is the relationship with the art itself? And from that, ryuha is alive or not. We're not talking about people who had the dojo open here, we learn ninjutsu, come, the classes like this. Plus, we're in Japan. I mean, shinobi ninja have a very bad reputation. They have the reputation of like Yakuza, even worse. Which is strange because they were warrior, they were bushi. So even with their peer, they were not respected. They were warrior that doesn't fit the way warrior used to fight. So you can even say that the way they do it's a tengu style, a ninja style, because what they do, they doesn't fight like the common people. So the people who lose, they always said, they are a crowd, what they do, it's not fair. No, they survive on the battlefield and use technique that you're not used to do. This is what ninjutsu is about.
One, that's what Wagaku means. It's alright for everyone? One, the attack. Hoku no kamae. Hoku no kamae. It needs to feel how your arms strike, and the hand should be flexible. You strike, but the hand is like that. See? Like this, you can attack the face on the same time. And you practice inside, outside. If you can do this correct, alright. If you kick, you have also Hoku no kamae. Hoku no kamae. That's it. That's why.
Takama sensei met three masters: Toda sensei, Ishitani sensei, Mizutani sensei. Why we don't know too much about Toda sensei? Because he was not the type of man that needs to be known. Is it possible to understand that? Is it possible for people to accept that some people doesn't want to be known? Because they like to be quiet. You know, they are not like Musashi who try to go everywhere in the country to show themselves, etc., etc., and some quiet. Takama sensei was a quiet man. But first, Toda sensei was a quiet man. Did Toda wrote things? That is, he need to write things? That, is it martial arts something you learn from book? Or from direct experience? Do you learn to be a father from a book? Do you learn to be a mother from a book? You forget that humans start first by watching, observe, copy. And after a certain time, you need to name what you do. And according your knowledge and your experience, you name them. You don't know how to name, you create. But it makes sense. You need to create something that makes sense. You need to know how a classical Ryuha works. You need to understand the classification of the technique, that before Shoden, Shuden, Okuden, this didn't exist. It's different. And what you learn by someone. You have mastered what he did after a number of years. You start to understand how he did. And you do the same, or worse, or better. But still, you need someone before. So, Toda sensei was that kind of man. And for sure, it influenced Takamatsu sensei on his youth. And from Mizutani sensei, from Ishitani sensei, Takama sensei learned more. And after he did things by himself. And he was after in a relationship with the Kuki family, where they ask him to establish a lot of things. So at that moment, you need to explain. When you need to create things for a wide audience, you need more explanation. That's the reason why Takagi Shinryu, Kukushinden Ryu, they are schooled with many explanations, with many techniques. But the other, it's only for one or two, maybe for three, but mainly only for one. That's why you don't need too many explanations. You want to see if he can copy fast and do it good, correct, and against anyone. When you have that man, at that moment, to him you explain. Some people might say Takama sensei was better when he was young. He used to move like this when he was young. When he was old, he didn't move like that anymore. That was not good. Don't watch that. Watch how his student now is doing, and who is doing better, and who can apply to everyone. He wrote, of course, for Sato Kimbe, he wrote for Ueno Takashi, Kimura Masaji, and others. Yes, but the relationship we have with them, it's based on something different.
So all the people who 90% of the case try to imitate Hatsumi Sensei, most of them, they are not Hatsumi Sensei. They just have the rank very fast, like most of the people in the Bujinkan, and they never try against people who do Kyokushinkai, boxing, MMA. 90% of those techniques will never work against those people if you don't know from the first one to stop everything. That's really important things, ladies and gentlemen. The first technique, the first strike, the first step, the first shift is the crucial one.
This is a Gedan-uke. This is called Gedan-uke. Jodan, Gedan.
I question the level of any kind of master if they cannot fit the time where he lives and if he cannot adapt the technique or apply the technique to any kind of style. If you practice Koryu and you cannot face someone of MMA and say, yes, they have rules, no, classical martial art like Ninja works against anyone. So I question the validity of the technique if it doesn't work.
And you come back quickly, yes. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, look where? Look, I do this. So if I do this, I touch him, of course, but he touched before. Why? Circle, straight line. Who is the more quick? Once again. See? So even if I do the get okay many times and I strike with this, I hurt myself. So now, if you just go down.
If you take, for example, Niten Ichiryu from Miyamoto Musashi, Shin Kageryu from Kamizumi Sinokami, and all the Nagare, all the Ryuha, or Katori Shintoryu, first question you ask, do you think the founder of that Ryuha was moving in the same way they move now with the same kata? A lot of Soke is going to say to you, yes, this is the kata, deal by this, and he used to move like that. I have a big doubt about that. Why? Because kata doesn't help to survive in a real fight. We know that classical martial art cannot be fixed because it's for real fight. If you fixed in a situation where everything is in movement, you are a target easy to have. But you have to teach one day. And here is the problem. Some people can catch in 1 second, some people cannot. And there is one moment you have to teach, according to a certain time or history, to people who never practice martial art. And here you need to give them a structure. You need to, some people who never, is not a warrior, he doesn't know how to hold a katana, he doesn't know how to hold a spear, he doesn't know how to grab, he doesn't know how to, how you do? How you do? You need to set first, put your hand like this, hold like that, grab like this, etc., etc. And at that moment you need to fix things. In case of Gyokoryu, Kotoryu, Gikan, Gyokushin, Togakureryu, there is Kamae, but they were put in order to explain how, for example, to understand where is your weight of your body, how to shift the weight of your body in a way you can do it. And this is part of what we call the Tanren Heiho, Tanren Hoho, the way, the methodology to reinforce and condition your body and your mind through the essence of the art, through the purpose of the Ryuha. And normally, if it's well done, if it's learned correctly, applied correctly, step by step, with the age, you lose shape, you lose form, and you go to the essence himself. The problem is this essence is subject to caution. Some people see differently. In the case of classical martial art or just the Ryuha I just mentioned, there is the same goal for everyone. Capacity of economy of movement, not show how the movement works, no excessive strength, muscular strength, and be able to apply techniques against anyone.
You need to understand how your body involve, change, move in the space, in between 2 points. And those 2 points, for example, is your kamae. How can you move from here to here? How can you control that space? And after, how can you control the space between the tip of your finger to this? And when you shift from here to here, how you measure that? And this, of course, includes 2 things, rhythm and breathing. So Mai is also this. You need to understand that. And this according to form, because the form is like the only tools that allow you to measure that and to take care. So when you have a weapon, it's obvious. When you don't have a weapon, it's difficult. That's why we take form that looks like we hold a weapon. From that, when you understand this about you, now you need to apply this against someone who doesn't know you and want to attack you. And he might rush, he might go fast, he might go crazy, or he might go slowly. Some might send the intention that they're going to do it. So as you can see here, again, by sense someone's intention, you measure when it's going to come at which moment. This is also mine.
You have a flow, you need to cut the flow in sequence. When you're a real master, you need to show the flow, the sequence inside the flow, and to show how to put it in a flow. Here is the problem. You know, most of the time the student said it's the fault of the master, the fault of the teacher, the fault of the parents, right? He have also his responsibility. The student have his responsibility. First, he cannot understand. It's not about understanding, it's about copy. Now it's how to copy, what to copy, when to copy, and to copy clear. And this is not everyone, you know. One master, 6 students. 6 students, 6 different forms. Beautiful, great. Differences is very nice. But the one who is like him, that's better. Because when you develop your own things after, it's not what the master show you. Develop your own things. It's more an expression of yourself. In classical martial art, what you want is to be like the master. And after you understand and you reach the level as the master, it takes many years. And maybe the master is not here. Now you need to fit your time, you need to fit your period, you need to fit your area, which was not the area of your master. Like the time of the children are not the time of the parents. Parents does everything for the children. But when you reach a certain age, most of the time parents said, you know, it's not my time, I don't understand. You know, it's over, my time was better. Yeah, it's different. You know, it's like the five finger of the hands, you see, they are very different size. But when they join, they make one. You know, when they join, they're strong. If everyone goes to his own direction, well, it creates problems. It's the same. When a master has students, he's the palm, you know, he's here. And he needs to make all of them, which are very different, which have different belief, religion, education. He needs to create the harmony. Same in school, same in his classroom, same in the business. And you need to orientate everyone according, of course, his capacity. Some are very good for, let's say, relationship. You know, they are always there to bring the beer, the drink. Good. You give him according that. Some are maybe stiff. You have to teach him to become relaxed and to be more open to people. Some have problems because of family, because of education, etiquette. You have to teach him for this. Some are too violent. You need to show him how to not be violent. And some, they are very lucky, those ones, they have everything. So you need also to show him how to do it. So a master is also responsible of that. But at the same time, he needs to be positive to all of them. He needs to be fair to all of them. And this is very difficult because most of the time we talk with emotion. I like this one because he brings this. I like this one because he's clever. I like this one because he brings me money. I like this one because I like her, because she's beautiful. I like him because he said good words to me. I like him because he's the owner of the things. Mizutani sensei, Ishitani sensei, Toda sensei, Takamatsu sensei, Hatsumi sensei, Kamizumi seno kami. You put this, it's the same things at any time of the history. You just need to change if they had money or not, if they were in a wartime or not. Humans stay human. When a disciple shows something, we need to see clearly the influence of the master, if not the image of the master, his relationship to the art, how deep he goes there, how deep he knows it. And this is not about the knowledge, like something you read on book or Wikipedia or something like that. It's something based on life practice experience. That's really important. And finally, the relationship with the practice, how deep he goes to the practice, how his practice is. Is it something he goes twice per week, or because he lives on tatami, he thinks he practices every day, or something it is. It's living, it's always. Now after, it's up to the man who have a memory and who have heart in his memory and have a humbleness in his memory to remember of that and to recollect all those images of the past that he keep in his heart and put it alive in his own practice. When you understand the value, the weight of this knowledge, you start to see yourself smaller and you don't talk and practice.
When I have people asking, Kacem, what should I read? I said, read everything. With who I should practice, meet everyone and make your own idea. But take care of the way you take, the choice you're going to take. Try to choose someone based on honesty, sincerity, not someone who please you and rank you. It's very important.
Do we have proof Moses exists? Do we have proof Moses opened the Red Sea? Do we have proof that when Jesus Christ resuscitated the people took picture at that moment? We don't have proof. It's a matter of belief, yes or not? And honestly, is it interesting that they exist or what they did was true? No. What is important, it's the example they give for you to live nowadays. So whatever he could do, a jump on one finger or things like that, you need great image, great example to give a great sense, a great orientation to your life. They were men and they had their mistakes, their things. So this is really important. Whatever, ninja, this is not ninjutsu, this is this. What is important is what you can do now from what have been done in the past and how you can be helpful for the people around you and for yourself. And when you talk about something that is really important to your heart, you need that your action reflect that importance. You need to put weight on what you do, in the way you do, and for what you do. And mainly, to not ask something back, to not request something back. Because if you do it in order to have a return or something like this, everything you did vanish, goes away. Doesn't have any value. Value is inside. So what is the value of the practice? It's inside the practice. And it's impossible to talk about that because you are inside. So stay inside. And what is very interesting, inside you have two words. There is in and side. You have to take care. Are you in or on the side? You choose.